as a scholar of Middle-earth lore who has spent countless hours poring over Tolkien's epic works, I must say that the complex linguistic tapestry woven by the master storyteller never ceases to amaze me. The tale of Quenya, the Elvish language, is no exception, and its evolution in Middle Earth is a fascinating journey, worth exploring. In J.R.R. Tolkien's epic, The Lord of the Rings, he crafted numerous fantastical languages, with many readers recognizing Quenya among them. A well-known example of his linguistic prowess is the ring inscription on the One Ring, penned in Tenwar script, a script Tolkien himself devised. Characters like Gandalf and Frodo are seen examining this in Peter Jackson's film adaptations of. Interestingly, despite being written in Elvish Tengwar, the inscription is actually penned in Sauron's language, known as the Black Speech. The languages of Middle-earth were meticulously detailed, with Quenya standing out more than most. In my opinion, J.R.R. Tolkien, in his epic work, constructed one of the most intricate and detailed fictional worlds ever penned in literature. Beyond sketching family lineages and drafting maps, he devised multiple languages that brought authenticity to the diverse fantasy species inhabiting Middle-earth. Two such languages were Black Speech, used by dark forces, and Quenya, spoken by various elven races. The contrast between these two linguistic creations showcased Tolkien's extensive knowledge and expertise as a linguist and philologist, with philology being the study of languages. Quenya was prevalent among many types of elves, thereby serving as the foundation for countless words in where the Quenya language is from in Lord of the Rings. Quenya was an ancient language in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Quenya was the language spoken by the High Elves in Middle-earth, often referred to as the Elvish Eldar. However, it's essential to understand that Quenya has a rich and complex history. Before Quenya and Common Tellerin, there was Common Eldarin, which was the language used by the first elves who awoke in Creedianan and began their westward journey. This event marked the start of the first age of Middle-earth, as depicted in Morgoth's Ring. Over the course of the first age, Common Eldarin evolved into Quenya and Common Tellerin. Among the three major elven families, the Tellarrai were those who spoke Common Tellerim. Over time, the Vanyar and the Noldor adopted Quenya as their language, a change that occurred after the Telleri established their own distinct tongue. All these elves eventually journeyed to Valinor, which lies at the far west of Arda, a world where Middle-earth was but one continent. While the Vanyar remained in Valinor, continuing to use Quenya, many Noldor returned to Middle-earth and began speaking various languages. Among these, one language became predominant, serving as the primary means of Elvish communication. Quenya is not the only elf language in Middle-earth. Tolkien created multiple languages, and Galadriel was one of the most prominent among the Noldor, surpassed perhaps only by Fëanor. It was Fëanor who led the Noldor back across the sea from Valinor to Middle-earth, where they would eventually abandon their use of Quenya for the most part. while the Noldor were preoccupied with crafting, smithing, and waging war against other elves, another Elvish language was developing on Middle-earth by the time of the Lord of the Rings. The Teleri had spread across Middle-earth and fragmented into numerous cultures. Many of these cultures spoke a language known as Sindarin. Fëanor had, in fact, led the Noldor overseas at great expense, ransacking a Teleri settlement and stealing their ships when they refused to give him aid. The Noldor who reached Middle-earth, including Galadriel, preferred not to speak of this. Galadriel was not an active participant in the kinslaying at Alcalonde and came to reside in Doriath with the Teleri descended Sindarin-speaking Sindar. When the Noldorin crimes against the Teleri came out, the Sindar banned the use of their language in anger and regret, and henceforth Sindar overtook Quenya as Miller's main marriage. What's the Elvish language? Which loader characters and races can speak Quenya. Some men learned Quenya in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. It's revealed that not just elves, but also the Númenóreans, race from the Advanced Island Kingdom in the west of Arda, were skilled in Quenya, an Elvish language. Of course, the Jennison Blue and before their kingdom's downfall, the Númenóreans, renowned for their knowledge and academic pursuit, studied Quenya as part of their learning endeavors. During the Second Age of Middle-earth, following Thingol's prohibition, the Elvish language, Quenya, was no longer widely spoken, but served as a sort of Latin for Middle-earth's elves and educated circles. As mentioned in Of the Elves from Appendix F of The Lord of the Rings, Númenóreans and elves employed it for scholarly discussions and poetic compositions. This is the kind of Quenya literature that Númenóreans studied, and this material was transmitted across various sources, eventually reaching even distant places like the Shire. In J.R.R. Tolkien's The Fellowship of the Ring, the initial part of the Lord of the Rings epic, Frodo Baggins and his Hobbit companions encountered elves for the first time in a forest, an interaction that was regrettably omitted from the movie adaptation. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Upon encountering Gildor and his group, Frodo responded with a Quenya phrase, greeting, meaning this same phrase was also used by Adar towards Galadriel in The Lord of the Rings of Power. It appears that the influence of the Elvish language, Quenya, extended as far as Hobbiton, highlighting its significant impact on Middle-earth and its diverse inhabitants within the realm of The Lord of the Rings.